Hello and welcome to a Rocket Adrift creator commentary. My name is Pat and I'm joined as always by Lindsay.
Woo!
And Titus.
Hello.
And this is the first in what we hope is going to be a long series of commentaries. I'm giving you a bit of a behind the scenes, answering some questions that people had for us on Twitter, talking about some comments and all that jazz. So it's going to be fun.
Okay,
All right, first episode.
Art.
Yeah.
Friends make the worst art critics, or in our minds, art share, because
Yeah.
that was the production name for it.
Yeah, there's a working title and then
Yeah.
there's a real title.
Yeah, when we
we're
write the
pros.
scripts, we don't try to come up with a title that we're going to ultimately use when we actually put this up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we always have a title that we refer to it as, and it's really difficult to change that because it's been a while, so it becomes what you call it in your head. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, in our minds, it's always going to be art share. We'll never just be talking about this episode and call it Friends Make the Worst Art Critics.
It might be weird if
too
someone comes
wordy.
up to you and they're like, "Oh, I like that video that you did, blah 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 blah," and you're like, "What's
What?
that one?" I didn't.
Oh, art share.
Oh,
Yeah.
right, art
Oh,
share.
yeah.
That's like one of the unforeseen things that I don't think a lot of people understand about when you're trying to make it like something creative is just how much of a pain in the ass it is to name things.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like the
This is
hardest
addressed.
thing.
This is addressed in this episode.
That's
too.
true. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like an armor
Skylar thinks
girl
it cheapens them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Project.
It's funny too because even our name, Rocket Adrift, was really the result of us just spending an hour trying to buy a domain name
Online, yeah.
because what we used to call ourselves was taken. So
Right.
we needed something new.
It wasn't a good name anyways.
No, it
because
wasn't.
again, naming things sucks.
Yeah.
And inherently cheapen things. That was a nice little animation thing right there with the hand flip.
Yeah, I think, Titus, you animated this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually covered his mouth here to, not just to make it look like he was thinking, but also to hide the fact that like the audio got really low and it became like almost
Yeah.
impossible to lip sync this.
Yeah. 'cause
Yeah.
I'm just mumbling at that
Yeah.
point. So that's another thing. I play Skylar.
Yeah,
Titus plays Kelly.
that's right.
And
And Lindsay
I
plays
played the
Kirsten.
only girl. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Pretty easy to know who
Whereas
I play.
last time I played the only girl.
Wow.
In Katra, our last show. So let's get into some of our Twitter questions.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Someone's ex, one of our awesome Twitter friends, makes a great animated series himself, or I'm assuming it's a him. I'm not actually certain.
Glenda, the Galaxy's
the
classiest tourist.
Yeah, it's
Great
it's
show.
fantastic, and the
Yeah.
animation is just top notch.
Check it out on YouTube.
Yeah, and just a really cool person.
Yeah.
So thanks if you're listening.
If you
for-
look in this episode, that's Glenda right there in
Yeah.
that picture frame.
yeah,
We
we,
had
put
an
in
Easter egg.
we put in an Easter egg right there.
Yeah.
because we love that show so much. So, question: after writing a joke, how do you deal with the logical wear down it will suffer during the long process of production of an episode? I just got to say right off the bat that just based on this question, it's like you know that he gets it.
Yeah, he gets the struggle. Like, it does take a long time to produce these episodes. From
Yeah.
written to, like, finished product.
Yeah, and sometimes jokes will come out like during the premise phase,
Yeah.
where we're just like, "Here's an idea for a show."
Yeah.
I mean, for an
For an
episode,
episode,
and
yeah.
then it's like, "Here's a few jokes," and so they have to sometimes survive from that to the outline, to the script,
yeah.
to the finished product, and yeah, that can be pretty.
Recording. Sometimes
know.
we just lose jokes in recording because they don't work.
Yeah, I mean, I thought about this long and hard, and I was like, I don't really know that I have a great answer, other than because we all handle different aspects of the production.
Yeah.
It helps when like it goes from, okay, someone wrote the script, then I'm editing it, and it's interesting to then hear those jokes read out loud with like inflection and acting and stuff like
Yeah.
that. That gives them a new life.
Yeah.
And then when
That
they're
does
edited
help.
together, that gives them another new life.
Yeah.
But because I do that, they're kind of old for me at that point. But then you guys are laughing at it when I play it for you. And so I'm
Right.
like, okay, it's still funny.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
we
then when
review
it's
the audio.
animated, it becomes new for me.
Right.
Again. So that's nice.
Yeah, I remember when we were moving over to animation because I had been doing it before, and we were talking about, I had my own YouTube channel, and I was doing stuff with our YouTube channel at the time.
Yeah.
And we were just like, we should just put everything together into one. And I remember we were making the decision to focus on animation. And I just remember telling you guys about how difficult it is, and how you just have to, at some point just have to trust yourself that like you did the best that you could writing it, and you did the best that you could recording it, because when you're editing it and when you're animating it, it breaks it down into just like
Words.
sounds and visuals in a way that like it's all completely lost at that point.
Which I do think it really helps to have two other people at that point.
Yeah, for sure.
Haven't been through that process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And having people laughing at it still, even after putting it together.
Yeah.
We talked over a little bit, but there's the part with the clapping.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite parts.
Yeah, me too.
And was kind of inspired, now that I think of it, of like a joke that I used to do where I would just clap, partly a joke, partly real, where I would clap in rooms to check their like
audio guy here.
how like the
reverberation,
how the sound is in the room.
I thought it was a joke based on you asked us to clap so you could line up the audio.
Oh my God, that killed me.
Yeah, and Lindsay just always clapped afterwards, and it was driving you completely crazy.
It just ruined any chance of me.
I was such an asshole. And then Titus would do it too.
Yeah,
and he was confused. He was like, "So we're not doing this? I don't understand. What?
Wait, am I the asshole? What's happening?"
That's something you should know about us, is the minute that we figure out like a button we can push, then two people gang up on that person.
It's so true.
No, but the funny part was that you didn't even realize what was going on. Like, you just thought we were testing audio.
So Devil in the Hard Rock Stout, a song that was improvised, right? Well,
yeah, totally.
On the spot. It was
definitely.
Like, let's think of a dumb old man song. And that's a great poster.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, episode 2.
Yes. Stoned, a.k.a. first time getting stoned.
Yeah.
One of the few episodes actually animated in 24 frames per
Yeah,
second.
that was a mistake.
Well,
that was my first
We may be going back to that, but
we're definitely going back to 24 frames.
Yeah.
It'll be
it looks smoother.
It's not going to be in these 8 episodes, or 4 episodes we're talking about now, and the next 4 either, but it's coming up. We're going back to 24 frames.
Yeah, we're always updating and stuff.
You can get those nice smooth zoom ins and zoom outs and all that kind of stuff, and pans and everything.
Yeah.
In 24 frames.
I love that we have various options for Kirsten's hair, because it really sets the mood of the character depending on what we want to go with.
Yeah. This show is, I feel like, so it's not a blank slate right now, but it's almost like I feel like there all these things that you're seeing right now in these first 4 episodes. It just gets so much bigger. I mean, even just like in the 4th episode that we're gonna see, it just already you're starting to see more of the characters' developments and everything, and not only that, but just more of the apartment. Because in the first 2 episodes right here, you just see these like the living room. Yeah. And then even in the third one.
The third one
is
just the living room.
It's the living room again.
Yeah. Right.
We really stuck with the living room early on, which was silly because we had
we have a whole apartment.
Whole apartment to use.
Right.
That's typical us.
Yeah.
Right there. Yeah, and it's really nice to be able to move things around, and we felt like with our last show that things were just getting kind of really claustrophobic.
Yeah.
Because it was always taking place in the same room, and we had the same shot options.
Yeah. And we really stretched to make that work for that show with 10 episodes. But now, like we were just talking about this today, we've already made 10 episodes that just aren't out right now as of recording this.
Already
and
produced.
So we still have to make more. So to keep it interesting, you got to change things up.
For sure.
Oh, I'm gonna pop into the second question from Someone's Ex. After the first view of a finished episode, how do you manage to discern real issues from unfounded insecurities?
We
don't.
We had a lot of us. We had a bit of a struggle with this for a while. Actually,
We struggled. Yeah.
like I think it was me on one side of like fix everything,
Right.
and then you guys on the other side of like let
just
a
let
lot of it
go.
slide, and
Yeah.
then we met somewhere in the middle, and that's kind of
Yeah.
where we're at now, where we try to be more. I try to be more forgiving of any issues,
Yeah.
and you guys try and be more open to the idea of fixing things.
Yeah, going back.
I think it's because it's easy for you to be like, fix that. And
Yeah.
what we're thinking is like,
I have to re-render.
yeah, this is not just re-render, like this
And
is hours
reanimate.
of work, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's also just like at the beginning we were still rocky because this is the first time we were doing this, so we weren't as quick as we are now. I
Right.
think like I have a much better system for like going back and editing, clips.
Yeah, and
It's-
hopefully we're getting even better
Yeah.
system.
It's ironic that question was read out for this episode too, because this episode did have some issues that I ended up
did.
going back and fixing. Because
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I understand. It was like, yeah, it is
It was
easy for me to say that.
It was my
stuff.
first episode, and I just like I felt like I did everything wrong because I got the frame rate wrong, and
Yeah.
I got like the camera zooms weren't working, or like there were some pans that weren't working, and we decided not to use those, and I was just like overwhelmed.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I'm not going back and doing this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not fixing it.
I was
don't
like, you
have
know what?
time.
It bothers me the most. I'll fix it.
Yeah.
And so I ended up doing it. But yeah, in the future, we haven't run into that issue
No.
lately. I think one reason is because we're just more practiced now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other reason is just I think we understand each other a little bit more and where we're coming from.
And I think the other thing is just when it's a weekly show, you do have to let things slide.
Yeah.
It was different when we had, a 10 episode run, and those 10 episodes were going to represent the show, and we needed them to be as good as possible.
Yeah.
And the problem with that, though, is that we just got tired.
Yeah.
We got tired and overworked, and it was very difficult to go back and change things. Mm-hmm. Or you'd hear something, and we'd think of something, and we were just so far into the production that it didn't matter. But here, it's like you almost have to be like, do we go back and change it, or do we learn from this going forward?
Yeah.
And we have to just kind of make that call.
Yeah. And
Every now and then.
I think we've also we've gotten better at just establishing what the threshold is for something to like let it go.
Yeah.
Okay. There was a couple great animation moments in there.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
was one of those things where you were saying like I felt like I did everything wrong for that episode. It was like there were parts that were like, okay, those are mistakes, but they were just technical mistakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the animation in that episode was great.
Yeah.
Like Kirsten storming off looked awesome.
Yeah.
I remember when
That's
I
the first time we had them walk, kind of like our chair, she walked into the frame at the beginning too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was just such exciting animation of her
Yeah.
standing up and
and
then
then
charging
storming
off
out.
stream.
Yeah.
Off screen. I was like blown away when I first saw that because it after an entire 10 episode run of our last show where they never stood up, it was like to see our characters move like that. I was like, what?
Yeah,
What
because
just
our characters had
happened?
never had legs before. But yeah, this was the second one that I animated, and I was really proud of the animation I did in this one.
Yeah.
There's a lot of movement. It took me forever, but like I really was happy.
Definitely.
with
It's a great episode, especially in terms of just like the movements and yeah, I think the issues that we had with Stone when we were talking about it, it was just I was saying to Lindsay, you have like these incredible highs. It's just there's some technical stuff that's bringing it down a little bit. Whereas I feel like I'm just sort of consistent, not that exciting in my animations or choices, but just like
You're just like solid.
yeah,
all the way
just try to
through.
be as solid as possible.
Yeah.
So I think in this one, you managed to just pick up the technical things, but keep those highs.
Yeah.
And it just great episode. I also just like the writing in this one.
Yeah, I really like the jokes. I love all the stupid sounds that Skylar has on his keyboard. He keeps interrupting her.
I remember writing that in the script and just being like, "You can do that, right, Patrick?"
Yeah.
Put like a cat sound in here.
Yeah.
It was a little bit more work than
Yeah.
usual. It was fun.
Yeah.
You can find these sounds, right? Yeah. Thank you, freesounds.org.
Audio guy. Yeah. Exactly.
For sure.
No Foleying here.
Let's just say that by the end of it, they had asked me like 6 times whether I should donate to their website.
Yeah.
You've used free sounds a lot. Would you
Yeah,
like to
would
donate?
you like to donate?
I'm like,
No.
I would, but money's tight. Oh. Yeah. It's a good episode.
I really love how Kelly has his like guitar rig and never uses it. He never plays except for when he's tuning it, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a fun part to do too.
The most playing we hear is from Kirsten and Skylar, and they suck.
It's funny because Kelly just makes such a big deal about playing, but you never actually see him play.
Yeah. Which is not too far off from real band practices. Yeah. The funniest thing about this is that, like, Titus, you mainly wrote this one. But when I read it, I was like, yeah, I mean, like, it's like you were in a band because I was actually in a band, and I'm like, yeah, this is pretty close.
Accurate. Yeah.
We were just arguing and like nothing really productive getting done.
I ended up, I think why I had this is I had a friend who was in like a heavy metal band, and he would always drag me because I had a camcorder out to his band practices and his like shows just so he could get footage of it. Mm-hmm. And I remember just like soaking it all in and realizing how ridiculous it all was and how it must have seemed like really important to them, but for like someone standing outside of it, it just seemed hilarious to me.
Yeah.
I loved animated Kirsten in this one.
Yeah.
She was so annoyed and then like awkward when they asked her to like introduce them. She's like, okay, and this is Kelly's band.
Yeah. I always find she has the best range of emotions.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
what you can
For
do with the
expression,
face.
yeah.
It's hard to make Kelly look upset. You can make him look kind of like worried or like hurt.
Or like hurt. Yeah.
But it's hard to make him look mean or, you know.
Mm-hmm. Because he rarely is mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a pretty kind-hearted fellow.
And Skylar, it's really hard to make look happy.
Yeah,
Genuine
it just doesn't.
happy.
He has a smile, but it just doesn't look right. He's not supposed to smile.
Look right.
I'm okay with just keeping him very even-keeled in the emotion. I feel like it actually helps the delivery to like have a character that's very...
Also, just pitted against these two very expressive characters, Kelly and Kirsten, it helps to have like a really neutral one like Skylar.
This was one of my favorite things to do in the audio edit was just put the music in. The
The dramatic.
That was really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And another of my favorite touches in this one was putting in at the end I'm playing, I can't remember the name of the song, but it's like a classical music piece.
Yeah, it's Claire de Lune.
With duck sounds.
It's Claire de Lune, but with duck sounds.
And that was, I was like trying to do that with the duck sounds originally, and I just couldn't do it because the duck sounds were so distracting. So I played it in a regular piano sound and then converted it to the duck sounds.
Classic.
So stupid.
That was fun. These first few episodes are longer than our later ones, I feel like.
Well, I think we just got tighter in the editing thing, and that's an issue that I feel like I had the most, was just bringing scripts that were really long to things.
You've completely turned it around on that lately, though.
Yeah.
It's like lately you've kept it
really
in the
tight.
4.5 to 5 pages area, which is what we're aiming for.
Yeah. I just have a sense when we're talking about just that many pages, I have a sense it's really easy to get a really good sense of where the episode needs to be at every point in the page. So you have one page to get to the bumper. Yeah. And then if things aren't good, like you're like, okay, 3 pages, I got 1 page to wrap this up, you know?
Yeah.
Here is Toronto.
Yeah.
It's the skyline. Of Toronto.
It's all condos and then one CN Tower.
Yeah, exactly. We wanted to represent
Sky Dome.
Toronto a little bit. This entire show is more of like let's bring it closer to home. Let's make it more relevant to who we are, and where we're from, and what we believe in, and all that stuff.
It makes it easier to write, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't know. It's just it's not a city that gets to show itself a lot.
No, it's true.
I mean, you've seen it a million times
in movies.
Disguised as New York.
Exactly.
But just
it
Toronto
never gets featured as itself.
Yeah. Having the just having the confidence to be like, yeah, I'm Toronto, instead of being like, it's some city in America.
It's Chicago.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
it's Boston.
Okay, this is episode 4.
Yeah.
It's not the 4th one that we animated, right?
No, because we had to push this one up to try and time it out with the release of Solo.
Yeah.
A movie that we're all super interested in.
Oh my god.
Sure.
I can't wait to ride on the coattails of that movie.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Yeah.
SEO.
Super happy.
Yeah, it's all about that SEO. No. I don't know. I mean, it's a Star Wars video. It's talking about our relationship to Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's put it out when the Star Wars movie comes out. Why not?
Yeah, see if that works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love this episode.
No, I do too.
It was
Don't get me
hard
wrong.
to animate, but it was also just like the writing is some of our best writing, I think.
We wrote this one together.
Yeah, we wrote this one together. That's probably why.
Yeah.
It was one of our stronger episodes.
That's true. It was like a joint effort, this one. Maybe let's talk about our relationships with Star Wars.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we vary. I think
I don't have much
completely
of a relationship.
lapsed Star Wars fan where you don't care at all about it anymore. I'm pointing at Titus. And then Lindsay has always kind of been like, well, I like it, I guess.
I remember it's a little more complicated than that. I remember when Lindsay, you were kind of friends with me, and you were dating Patrick, and we would hang out together. And I remember you being really upset because you're like, you guys would probably get along, but all you ever do is fucking talk about Star Wars when you get together.
I forced them to bond by not talking about Star Wars anymore.
Yeah, I remember it was one time
we were such a safety net for like conversation.
Yeah, it was like a guy's safety zone.
And just Lindsay was like, okay, now try not to talk about Star Wars this time. And I was like, all right.
Patrick.
And I really had to try and find anything else to talk about. Because I don't know, I'm shy. I'm not very good at making friends with guys, especially for some reason.
Yeah.
And so I was
Fair
like,
enough.
this is an easy thing. I know we both like Star Wars. We could both talk about it.
It's also that thing that, at least back then, you could just say Star Wars, and then I would just be talking the whole night.
And that's
you would
great.
just be angrily ranting about this fucking franchise. And I've already, by like the 10th time, I already knew all your gripes, and I didn't want to hear about it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I think it was sometime last year that you were just like, you know what, I'm not interested in it anymore.
Guess what, guys? The guy who talked about this the most doesn't care anymore.
Yeah.
So get used to that. I'm like, I've been there, okay? I don't care either.
I'm less into it than I was now, but I don't hate it.
Right.
I'll watch the new ones and I'll be like, yeah, all right. Yeah.
How can you feel that strongly about this?
I guess the point of this episode isn't so much like we don't care about Star Wars or anything, or it's more about like how there's always been a lot of Star Wars, and now it's just reaching the breaking point. And
saturation.
It's never been this perfect series of movies. There's always been total sellout trash, like the Ewok movies.
List them off
and all that stuff. And there's just. So it's kind of what we're trying to say with this one.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, I had a screen and I lost it. So someone cover for me right now.
Okay, hey.
So this one is
called Gross Craft Beer.
In our minds, it's called Drinking.
Drinking, yeah.
Which is a great working title. Can separate it from anything else.
Exactly. Yeah. This one takes place in the kitchen. The first time we show the kitchen.
That's right. I remember looking at this and being like, "Oh, it's got so much going on in the background compared to the last setting, which is a lot of blank wall space."
Yeah.
But love it.
This one was so funny to me. Like Titus wrote most of this through the outline, and then I had to bring it to script. And like I was just dying of laughter.
You couldn't like properly edit it. Like,
oh my
at
god,
one point,
no.
because you're just like, I want to keep in all the jokes.
Yeah, it was
I'm
so
like, we have
hard
to cut some of the jokes.
the jokes. Like just the names of these stupid beers and like the things that they contain. Oh my god, it was just so clever.
Yeah. There's some great Kirsten moments in this one where she like does the sort of misdirection jokes.
Yeah, for sure.
But the most fun for me with this one was making the stupid logos
Yeah,
for all of the craft beers.
Yeah,
They look so real too. They look like they could be actual craft beers.
Yeah. Shout out to openclipart.org,
Yeah.
I think it is, where I found a lot of the public
imagery.
domain images to use for that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Bob Barley's Jamaican weed beer. Like, how gross does that sound?
Yeah, I don't know. I've never had a weed beer, but I don't think
Is
I ever
that a
would.
thing though?
Yeah.
Oh my!
They
Of course
call it a
is.
hemp beer, but
Hemp brew.
they
Yeah.
really market it to the stoner crowd.
Oh my god.
So Titus, how do you feel about craft beer? I can't tell based off of this episode.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. No, you got me. Doing
Yeah,
that thing.
no,
yeah.
We don't.
Yeah, no, you're not
Honestly,
a fan, right?
To be honest, I don't care. It's beer. If it's beer and it tastes good, I'll drink it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like kind
honest.
of in the same boat, really.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I understand like that some people are like, no, with the craft beer, I'm not
Yeah.
into it.
It's just, I think that people, when they make craft beer, try to find something to differentiate themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And that's usually the thing that's gross to me.
It's just like adding new ingredients that shouldn't exist in beer, like fruit and
Or
shit.
just be like, yeah, do you taste that hint of peach? And you're
It's
like,
like, no, I
not
taste
really."
beer.
Yeah.
I taste wheat. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had a few gross beers.
Yeah, I
They're
don't
usually
want
like the darker ones, like the chocolate one. Ugh, chocolate beer is awful.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
understand why you would mix something milky
Yeah,
in
with
something
a
that's supposed to
beer.
be refreshing.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a good
The
point.
way you put
Yeah.
it, it's just like, yeah.
I'm sorry,
So
like
true.
chocolate is like a milky substance.
Yeah.
Don't put it in something
not
water or
refreshing.
something watery.
It's something
That's
rich.
gross.
Like, you can't put rich and refreshing together.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure there's great craft beers out there. It's just
Sure.
my experiences with people, like with their own wines too.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, this is awful, but I can't tell you that. You know?
It's also like the culture surrounding it is so like bro-y and like
Yeah, it's weird.
hipstery, douchey.
It's like the bros way of being creative.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
oh man, I'm doing my own thing. I'm
microbrewery.
like making my own beer. I'm
growing a beard.
It's all
Yeah, I'm growing a
organic
beard.
wheat.
We do it
Yeah.
in our garage. There was this one
Yeah.
episode of this show that me and Lindsay
Easy,
watched
yeah.
where it was like this. It was who's
These brothers is
David Franco.
David Franco plays
and,
one
like
of the
his
characters.
character's brother or whatever. This brother character,
Yeah,
are like
they're
making their own
brewing.
beer in like a garage, and Dave Franco's character is all like upset that
Such a
they're not
bro.
like grassroots anymore after they get out of
Yeah.
the garage, and he's like, I want to make experimental beers,
Beer.
man.
I want to use coffee.
And the guy's like,
I want to use
the other
chocolate.
guy's like, dude, the IPA sells. Like people,
Yeah,
want
just
to
make more
buy the
IPA.
He's like, I'm sick of boring old
yeah,
IPAs.
you're caging my creativity, man.
Yeah.
I was
Ugh.
like, no, the
No.
other brothers got it, man. Like
He
that
knows
thing
what
is
he's
selling.
doing.
You guys are getting some success. Just
Yeah.
Stick with
Just
that.
trust
beer,
him.
you know, like,
yeah, it's beer. What are
I
you
kind of
trying to do?
subscribe to like the German beer
Yeah,
ideas
for
of
sure.
like, just here are the ingredients, and you get
And
to
they're
choose how
pure.
much of it goes in and what the process is. But if you
Exactly.
screw with that, then you're not making
It's
beer
not real
anymore.
beer.
And that,
very
they're very strict. I kind of like that idea of just keeping it simple.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to read out a really nice comment that we got
Mm-hmm.
on one of our videos. It was from Chris Shaw, the guy that does the League of Taste and Class Corp.
Yeah.
Another animated show that we love and follow. And he says, this is like a more nervous animated version of Friends set in Toronto, but it's actually funny, brackets, unlike Friends.
Burn.
Love it. Also love the Glenda picture. So that one was from the art chair.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great comment. I was like, you know what? That's pretty accurate. Like, it is kind of like a neurotic version of Friends, or like.
Yeah. Well, it is one of our like indirect influences.
Yeah,
I could
we
say.
talked a bit about this on the
Yeah.
Patreon exclusive podcast.
Yeah.
If you guys want to go check that out, patreon.com/Rocket Adrift.
Yeah.
Where we mentioned that it's like, it's an influence, but it's like, we're not like, oh, we got to make a show like Friends.
No.
It's
But
like
it's
an
like-
embarrassed influence.
Yeah.
where
Yeah,
you're
like we
oh,
just
yeah.
realized, oh yeah.
It's like, right, I'm a child of the 90s.
Yeah.
And that was one of the
That's my
biggest shows
media.
on TV, and
Yeah.
so I watched it a lot, and now it infects our sensibilities, whether we want it to or not. It's a fun show every once in a while to put on.
Yeah, this one is band fights. What was it called?
Band
on
fights are
YouTube?
stupid.
Band fights are stupid, but in our mind is Jam Session Part 2.
Yeah.
That's right. I like the shades on Skylar.
I
on this one.
know.
I'm glad you guys like that.
He would so wear that.
It was just a little touch I added to this when I was animating it.
He's
yeah.
trying to take this band seriously, I think.
Yeah.
This is one of the things that we want to do with this show, is have these kind of recurring themes, or not recurring themes, but recurring situations
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
will come up multiple times. Like, the band stuff will come back again. We haven't made another
Always.
episode as of right now, but
Yeah.
we're definitely going to do another band episode. And maybe another art share episode where they're sharing their art with each other and
For sure.
that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to see, at one point, I think the goal is to just get these guys on stage somewhere.
Yeah, for sure.
And
Yeah.
it would
It's
just
some
be
like open mic
terrible.
night at some shitty dive bar.
That's yeah.
This
That's necessary.
Yeah.
This is another thing that we've kind of noticed. I think you got a comment about this at one point, where people are like, you guys don't ever do the thing. Like, whereas like we built up
You set
this
up something
idea
at the
of
beginning.
Yeah.
playing a song or something, or being a band, but they never band.
They never band.
They never play a song.
It's like in Art
No.
Share where Kelly's like, I can't wait to share
Share
my song with you.
Yeah.
And he never does.
Yeah. Well, I guess he kind of does. We ended up improving
Improving,
a
yeah.
song at the end, but yeah.
This is one of the rare ones where like Skylar and Kelly are fighting.
Yeah, they usually agree on things, or Kelly usually doesn't feel seriously enough
No.
about something to be in a fight.
Yeah.
That's true.
But I think he takes his music very seriously.
Yeah.
So.
And
They're-
Skylar clearly doesn't. He's all about the aesthetics.
Yeah, I kind of picture like those two, their dynamic being like, they kind of enable each other in a bad way.
Yeah, in this like neglect to take care of yourself way.
Yeah, like Skylar allows Kelly to just be completely off the walls,
Yeah.
and wrong about stuff and whatever. And Kelly is just like,
He's a
you're
Skylar
allowed to be an
apologist.
asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, you just don't get him. He's not an asshole. He's got a different way of thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's on the spectrum. Oh, I don't want to spoil the next one.
Yeah, it's a joke later on.
Well, that brings up an interesting thing that I thought I wanted to bring up and talk about. First of all, I'm Titus. I play Kelly on the show, and
I play Kirsten, obviously.
that's Lindsay.
And I play Skylar.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk maybe about the characters, how they're similar to us, how they're different from us. Yeah, basically.
Yeah, it's. I think there's a little bit of all of us in all the characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you were to ask any of us, I think we all see more of ourselves in Kirsten than any of them. Maybe I don't know. That's how I feel.
She is technically the main character.
She's more of a real character, where
Yeah.
the other two have a little bit more. Well, they're more. They have their depth that we will explore in later episodes, but they're definitely like more extreme versions of people.
Yeah.
She's the more grounded one,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
And we're mostly following her kind of struggle with like into adulthood
Yeah.
and like living.
I think I could definitely have
Alone.
aspects of Skylar in me as well, where it's like I've been accused of pretentiousness at times.
No.
And And
No, but you're really not like him.
No,
No,
definitely not.
You're not just a hipster douchebag.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
there's more to Skylar than just being a hipster douchebag, I think.
But that's what he comes off
I don't have the
as.
confidence that he has
No.
to just be
Yeah,
able to
yeah.
just like stand by whatever douchey thing
Yeah,
I might
holy.
say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm definitely more self-deprecating, but
I always pictured Skylar as more of like a lady killer.
that remains to be seen. I don't
Yeah.
know how I can't decide how he'll react to that kind of thing.
That image.
Yeah, I wanted to put some of those images in there to just show some of the
That's funny.
social media stuff happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, well, how do you guys? What about you for Kelly?
Oh, no. I mean,
Nothing about
I don't
you.
think that.
Well, oh come on! You always talk about how you're an old cranky man inside.
Yeah, but Kelly's not cranky.
He's not that. No,
I think
he's not that.
I
cranky.
think I'm an old man inside, but Kelly is like a lighthearted, like lovable guy, and I feel like I'm more like a curmudgeon type of old man.
Yeah. To be clear,
That
too,
hates
you're
the
not an
world.
old man. You're
No,
You're not an old
30, no.
man
You're
at
in
all.
30s.
You just like to think you're old.
Yeah.
I feel like
It was your
yeah.
birthday, and you were like, I don't know, I'm turning 39. You're not.
I think I felt old ever since I was like 10 years old. You know, just
I'm the same. I feel older than I am.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
me too.
No, Kelly is just Kelly's like, you know, he just always seems to be very positive. I think he has that kind of those self-doubts that he's just hiding under the surface that bubble up in
Yeah.
ways. And I can relate to that for sure, but
I think he's also kind of like the worst case, maybe not
No,
worst
he's
case
like-
scenario, but he's like that kind of future that we're all trying to avoid of like, oh, he
Yeah.
just ended up, not doing what he wanted to do and did the whole traditional get a family and all that stuff.
And
And,
a
Yeah.
business career or whatever.
and then in the end, now he wants to be young again and do all those things. And he's
yeah,
like
he's kind of like
smoking
having
too
a
much
midlife
weed
crisis. Yeah.
and, not being responsible and all
Yeah.
that stuff.
yeah. That was the idea when we wrote him for sure. And yeah, I think it's an interesting thing where you never really see that.
No.
In things that talk about creativity.
Yeah.
are
Yeah,
the
for
people
sure.
that like everyone else is like they're too old to be doing this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
But they're just like, fuck it, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
And I thought that was an interesting thing to explore.
Exactly.
Yeah, that
we
exists.
we will explore more of like his insecurities and
Yeah, and maybe some of the
Struggles.
responsibilities he's
Yeah.
running away from
Yeah.
a little bit when we have more characters.
Yeah.
And what about you for Kirsten?
Yeah, I'm pretty much Kirsten.
There's elements
There's
of
elements
you,
of
for
me.
sure.
Like I am fussy in particular and easy to anchor. Fiery, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm as naive about
No,
things,
she's
so.
she's like maybe you mixed
Like,
with a little
a
bit of
few
all
years
of us.
ago. Well, maybe
like
a
when we
few- me a
first
few years
graduated
ago.
college or
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
like that. Like that's her. In her backstory, right now she has just graduated college and
Yeah.
moved to the city.
Yeah.
And we're not spoiling anything because that happens in the next episode.
Yeah,
coming
for
up.
sure.
But
Yeah.
like she talks about that.
also just cares about shit that I'm just like, I'm so over that.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Like I can't
In
care
her
about
backstory
that
too,
shit
she
anymore.
comes from the country. And
Yeah.
so that's a little bit of my like backstory or what my
Yeah.
I think we
life
tried to
coming
take
in.
all of the naive pasts of ourselves
Yeah.
and put it into Kirsten so she could be, I wouldn't call her just strictly naive, but I think she can be very wise about things.
Sure. Yeah.
And other things she can be pretty naive about.
I
Yeah.
think she has to be for that character to grow. She needs
Yeah.
to start off at this
Mm-hmm.
place, and then later she'll learn more and grow up in some way and stuff.
So this one is as what your Netflix list says about you.
Yeah.
I think I animated this one.
You did.
And
Yeah. We have this is
this
another.
one was a breeze to animate, weirdly. I don't know why.
That's so weird.
Like the program we use is kind of like breaking down slowly. So
Yeah.
a lot of the animation work has been an uphill struggle. But this one was it was fine. I was happy with the result, and it was quick and easy.
There were a lot of new things that we had to add
yeah.
to make this. I think there was a Q-tip and just some redness in
Red
Kelly's
eyes,
eyes was
yeah.
something we wanted to have going on for a while.
'Cause he's
So-
just supposed to be higher than usual.
Yeah.
This one was a fun one to write.
Yeah.
Like, I especially like the Q-tip joke.
You're trying to smoke a Q-tip right now.
I'm very observant.
I also like the idea of just like pulling the cover over like Skylar's pretentious taste in movies and revealing that he's actually not pretty basic.
Yeah, it's nice when Kirsten gets to win.
Yeah.
In arguments with Skylar. So.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so it just goes back to what we were talking about with that comment earlier with Chris Shaw's comment, and how you on the outside you want to be like. No, I like French films, like for Skylar. I love all these French New Wave films.
I'm so
But then you
like,
look at his list and he watches all this like really cheesy stuff.
Yeah, like Friends and like.
And then you dig a little deeper and
I
it's
Love
because
You, Man.
he just wants to have friends.
And belong,
Yeah.
Okay, here's a
was
different kind of episode, I think.
Yeah, this one was a bit, darker.
I wouldn't say,
Well, not
darker,
dark, but like serious.
We're
tone.
going for more a wider range of emotions here.
Yeah.
And
this is our first kind of toe into the deep end.
It was a difficult episode to make because it's like we're so used to just staying with this is just funny, relatable, that kind of thing. Whereas here we're trying to develop the characters. It's really important too because we have to set up some of what the characters' backstories are and what there is going on underneath the surface.
Yeah. And also just kind of make that struggle kind of believable and relatable.
And Titus did a really good job of writing all that stuff out. And
I remember it was like 1:00 in the morning and I was in a particularly vulnerable place and I was like, I think I'm just going to try to use this into a script.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. It comes across. It's like when you listen to the sadder parts or the more honest parts of what she's saying, it's like it hits home for a lot of people. I feel like definitely for me when I hear that last moment of her talking.
Yeah.
It's also nice to be able to, on just like a more technical aspect, it's nice to be able to use a wide range of the apartment that was drawn.
Yeah, for sure.
And one of the things we were concerned about is understanding the like flow of time in this episode. And I think it comes together that you understand. She's talking about stories
it's like
and
a flashback.
There's some flashback aspects.
We couldn't help ourselves. We had to inject some comedy into this.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Because she's like, the idea is she's introducing these characters to her parents and how ridiculous they are, and you can't do that without the comedy.
And in a way, you're sort of showing like here's the surface, but there is like something sad underneath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, we hope everyone that watched this cried. So.
Well, we hope
we didn't even cry.
Is that they got something out of that episode and continued to watch it.
Yes.
Yeah. That's I know. I'm just joking. For sure, I'm in the same place.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of the fears that she talks about are very real fears for me, anyway.
No, for all of us, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
I definitely think so. And I've been there, where Kelly is, right there, just playing guitar, sad and alone.
Taking a
standing in the middle of the room,
just like
that moment of self-reflection.
Like, none of this is good.
Aw.
Yeah. It's interesting to see that side of, and that's a side that we definitely haven't wrote or put into any of our other work. So I'm excited to be able to touch on those things because I feel like you don't want to be that person at the party that's just constantly telling jokes.
Yeah.
No.
It doesn't matter how funny they are. Eventually, you're going to be like, okay, just please get out of my face for a little bit.
Yeah. You have to develop the characters.
Oh my God. I love the fire effect in this.
Yeah, I worked hard on that.
great.
I was so proud of it. That tiny little fire, the tiny little garbage fire. Yeah.
I love how it's so small and contained. Like it doesn't even grow.
No. It's like just a couple frames going back and forth.
The smoke effects look great too. I really like that.
Yeah.
I'm glad. Yeah.
Skylar's just showing here. This one's good because it is funny, but it's also showing just his completely destructive nature. Of like he can't allow him to make anything that might have even a chance of succeeding.
Exactly. Yeah. Or even just being commercially like acceptable. Because he stands for everything that is the opposite of that.
And Kirsten hints that something might have happened to Skylar that kind of changed, that makes him feel this strongly about that.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to kind of explore that more when we start getting more characters and sets and that kind of thing.
Yeah, it'd be really fun to be able to see a young version of Skylar.
Yeah, for sure.
Just very green.
We pictured him as this like nerdy AV.
Oh, I don't know. I don't even want to tell people.
Yeah, I know.
We'll save that.
But it's exciting.
Yeah.
There we go. There's Skylar's room.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It is very Skylar. You can see the mold spots.
I really love the I really love the way that this whole end part came together when the music starts to slowly come in.
Yeah.
And I knew that it was working there when I was just doing the audio edit. When the music came in, I started to get little goosebumps. And I was like, okay, I think this is working. And then when I saw it all put together with the animation, I was like, yeah, this is definitely, it's getting across the emotion that I think we want to get across.
I think this is the most acting I've ever done, too.
Yeah, this was a marathon of an episode for Lindsay to record.
It was just so many monologues.
You look at the script and I was like, okay, well, that's my section done.
Yeah.
All right.
That's a wrap on Kelly.
Yeah. And then it's just like, okay, well, now it's
paragraph after paragraph.
all you, Lindsay.
Kirsten.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely, you nailed it, though.
For sure. Yeah. And I think that's also an interesting aspect is the acting. I mean, maybe not for me because I play maybe the most ridiculous character on the show, but probably for you, Lindsay, is that, you can do, you have to get that more grounded performance.
Yeah. I have to like pretend to cry or like pretend to laugh or just yell. I'm best when I'm just yelling angrily because like that's the thing I do on the reg. Just ranting angrily about shit.
Yeah, that's like almost like too easy for you.
It's my go-to.
That was when we recently recorded an episode. And I was just like, all right, here's a long paragraph. This is gonna be tough, Lindsay. I don't know if you're gonna. And then she does it. It's like, okay, first take, great. Okay, moving on.
To be fair, we'll talk about that when we do the commentary on that. But that one was very much me just writing from life.
You're like, well, this is pretty much what Lindsay would say.
I literally heard Lindsay say these things. This will be easy. Yeah.
That's something we tried to do with this show too. Was like we talked earlier about how much of these characters reflect you. It's not that they all reflect us, but there's stuff that we decided to pivot a little bit from our last show and make characters that help us. That are the easiest for us to do, I think. Like I think it's easier for me to be more of a monotone character. It's easier for you to do the crazy character, and it's easier for you, Lindsay, to do like the angry ranting character and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it was like those all fit, I think, well within our range.
Yeah.
But we're gonna excited to expand those.
Yeah.
Those characters in that range even more.
Yeah.
And we're excited to keep releasing episodes, which we will. And next week you'll get another episode coming up. So we're real excited to do that. And we want to thank you so much for all your comments, for subscribing, for liking the videos. It means so much to us. And a shout out to our patrons as well.
Yeah, and if there's anything you want us to cover in these commentaries or you have any questions, then either get in touch with us on Twitter at Rocket Adrift or leave a comment on this video. We'll see it there.
For sure.
All right. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.
Okay, bye.
Bye.